The circle is broken. There will be one Lion King.
Yo! Welcome back to my channel. Today I just watched Mufasa. Yes, this is why we got the fur on today. This is why, you know, mane out, fur out. And I was shockingly surprised. I actually liked it. I went in with low expectations after absolutely hating the first live action adaptation. But this time, we have the incredible Barry Jenkins, yes, the genius behind Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk, and my favorite weirdo theater kid, Lin-Manuel Miranda, bringing the quirky music to the scene. The prequel to the 2019 live-action remake directed by Jon Favreau, whose crazy lifeless CGI choice struck horror in all the hearts of those who love the animated 1993 classic, even though it still grossed over $1 billion at the box office. We follow Mufasa, a cub lost and alone, who meets a sympathetic lion named Taka, the heir to a royal bloodline. The chance meeting sets in motion an expansive journey of a group of misfits searching for their destiny. So we are definitely in for one wild ride. So let's get into this breakdown of Mufasa, the Lion King. Alright, so let's just jump into it, right? So the film picks up right after the Lion King story, where Simba and Nala, voiced by Donald Glover and Beyonce, who are reprising their roles, have welcomed a daughter named Kiara, voiced by the young icon, Beyonce's daughter herself, Blue Ivy. As they prepare for the birth of a second cub, they leave Kiara in the care of Timon and Pumbaa while they search for the birthing grounds. They are soon visited by Rafiki, who tells Kiara the story of a young Mufasa and Scar. Now, we get a peek at Mufasa's upbringing, right? He's born to the parents Masego, voiced by Keith David, and Afia, Anika Noni Rose, and they're on a quest for a mystical land called Milele. But hold on, because nature is about to throw a tantrum as a giant flood separates Mufasa from his family, and he washes up in a remote land where he meets Taka. Fun fact, it's actually revealed that Scar's birth name is Taka, and fans of the franchise have long known this since The Lion King 6 New Adventures. Yes, for those of you who don't know, there is Lion King lore, okay? So let's just stay with me. So Scar's birth name Taka. Taka means waste or want in Swahili. And boy, when I tell you the irony is strong, okay? So anyway, we jump back into it. Taka takes Mufasa to his parents, the King Obasi, played by Lennie James of Walking Dead fame, and Queen Asha, played by Thandiwe Newton. Taka is grounded for welcoming in an outsider, but Mufasa vows to help the pride. So they are put to the test of a race to prove Mufasa's worth. But Mufasa quickly tires out due to some PTSD with the water, and Taka loses just so that way Mufasa could stay. In the film though, Mufasa and Scar are shown not to actually be related by blood, despite the prior film stating otherwise. And that had everyone, myself included, all hating this movie before it even released, right? Although, I have found out in the actual Lion King that came out in 1994, Scar was initially written to not have any blood relation to Mufasa before the writers ultimately decided to make the two brothers, as they felt it would make the plot more interesting and it would follow more closely to the Hamlet inspiration. This change allows contrast to how Taka is prized by his father, King Obasi, as the future king of their pride, who would have little reason to feel like a waste or little to have any want for anything, especially given that Obasi is shown to be devoted to his son's welfare and safety and the honor of the royal bloodline. This later reveals why Taka ends up resenting Mufasa from taking the throne from him. meaning the want for his name actually will come into play later on, since he wants his title back, right? Are we following along? Are we following along here? So as Mufasa and Taka grow older, they are now voiced by my two favorite actor husbands, Aaron Pierre from Rebel Ridge and our new Green Lantern, Jon Stewart. Deal with it, he's gonna do great, as Mufasa, and Kelvin Harrison Jr. from Chevalier and Waves. He is phenomenal. If you guys have not followed this man's career, then you need to catch up. He plays Taka. Their brotherly bond becomes stronger as they grow. Asha teaches Mufasa how to hunt, but they become surrounded by a group of white lions, which Mufasa ends up fighting off, ultimately killing one. Taka sees the attack as he was hiding in the bushes, but he ends up running away in fear instead of fighting, and his mother sees this act of cowardice. The albino lions retreat back to their king Kyros, played by Mads Mickelson, Hannibal himself, and they let him know that his son, his heir, has been murdered by these lions. And with the hilarious villain song that is so Miranda coded. But I am honestly, like, he took my note, okay? He finally took my note, y'all. He did not add any raps to this, and I'm so thankful. I am so thankful. Thank you, Mr. Miranda. Thank you for listening. Anyway, so the white lions attack Obasi's pride for revenge. But before the attack, they send out the brothers to escape to be able to preserve the royal bloodline. Kyros then continues to hunt the duo, so that way he can rule as the one true Lion King. Cool note, so the villain lions being white is actually a really funny reference to the infamous controversy of allegations that Disney's The Lion King in 1994 actually plagiarized the 1965 Simba the White Lion, known in Japan as the Jungle Emperor. Get it? The Lion King, the Jungle Emperor. Okay, we get there. It was actually an anime and a manga, and fans claimed that Disney had stolen numerous elements from the Japanese franchise, from visual designs and even story elements. Tezuka Productions actually noted the similarities, but never actually pursued legal action. So thus, we still got our #1 Disney classic, okay? So jumping back into the movie, we have Mufasa and Taka. They come across a lioness named Sarabi alongside a younger Zazu and a young Rafiki, who tells them that he is on the quest for the same Malele to call his new home. And they all agree to go with him. Now we have the whole starter pack gang together, okay? We have the core fundamental crew from that era. Taka ends up growing smitten with Sarabi, and I think it's because, she's the only other lion that he's seen outside of his own pack, his own pride, that is his age, and she is a princess. And remember, he is literally obsessed with the royal bloodline. This is per his father's indoctrination. And he ends up attempting to tell her how he feels. But they are quickly interrupted by the white lions, who are in hot pursuit, and they've quickly caught up with them. Sarabi gets a herd of elephants to cause a distraction for Kyros and his pride. Unfortunately, after starting a stampede, Sarabi ends up injured in the process, and Mufasa rushes to her rescue. I actually really love this scene. It was so touching. Once they are safe, Mufasa remembers Taka's feelings for Sarabi, and he ends up telling her that it was actually Taka who saved her. Like, he threw him the alley-oop. Then the group arrive at a snowy mountains so that way they can cover their tracks and stay hidden from the Kyros pride. Sarabi ends up telling Mufasa that she knew it was him who actually saved her, and the two end up falling in love. It was so cute. Much to Taka's envy, who had been watching them this whole time. So out of resentment, Taka heads off, finds Kyros in his pack, and offers to help them get revenge on Mufasa, who is the one who actually killed his son. So the following day, the gang arrive at Malele, but Kyros and his pride ends up invading right after they arrive, because Taka had actually left marks for Kyros to follow. Mufasa tries to fight off Kyros, and Kyros ends up telling Mufasa that it was Taka all along who had betrayed him. Mufasa gets the other animals in the valley to try and fight off the white lions, whilst Kyros ends up forcing Mufasa into a cave where they continue their battle. And he almost ends up getting taken out. Taka then finds the courage and becomes full of guilt and tries to intervene by jumping to Mufasa's defense. But Kyros ends up scratching Taka's eye, leaving a scar. Boom, 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 boom. We have finally arrived to these pinnacle characters. Okay, so in the book this is based off of, Taka got scratched by Boma, that water buffalo. In The Lion Guard, the TV series, Taka got bitten by a cobra in the eye. I think I kind of like this rendition better, that he actually tried to defend Mufasa again. Rafiki ends up causing the cave to cave in where they were fighting to help the brothers escape. And Rafika also, by doing this, causes a flood to pool into said cave. And Kyros tries to kill Mufasa by taking him underwater. But Mufasa is saved by a falling boulder that lands on top of Kyros, ultimately killing him. Mufasa swims to safety, and then we get the iconic claws and paws moment where it looks like in Taka's hesitation that he is contemplating letting Mufasa die and drown here. So, but he doesn't. So we're great. And this marks saving Mufasa's life at least 4 or 5 times in this whole movie. So we can't really shit on Taka too much. I know he's supposed to be a coward, but he actually saved Mufasa's life a handful of times. So after the flood dies down, all the animals celebrate their triumph and coming together as a circle of life. We are one. And Rafiki ends up dubbing Mufasa their new king, as well as all the other animals. They all just bow down to this man, rightfully so. And Mufasa refuses at first, but then he ends up reconciling with his mother, who actually survived that flood in the very beginning. And then she ends up having to tell him that Masego, his father, had passed away while saving his life. Very akin to what's going to happen to Mufasa in the future. Then Mufasa goes and talks to Taka about his betrayal. But instead of banishing him or killing him, he decides to forgive him because of all the times that he saved his life and how close they were as brothers. And Taka decides to rename himself Scar because it's way more badass. Mufasa walks to the top of Pride Rock and begins to roar. Back in the present day, Kiara roars in the exact same spot and begins to feel the presence of her grandfather's spirit. Soon after, Kiara, Rafiki, Timon, and Pumbaa reunite with Simba and Nala, and Kiara meets her new baby brother named Kion. So here are some of the things that I liked in this movie. At one point during Rafiki's story, Pumbaa mentions the play, and Timon becomes immediately agitated. He says that he's seen the play several times, and he is presented as a sock puppet. And this is hilarious because, and I love the Broadway play. I've seen it twice. This is a very meta reference to the real world Lion King musical, which utilizes puppets among other creative methods of showcasing these characters. Also, they are consistently referencing the actually very amazing straight-to-DVD sequel, The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, throughout this entire movie. Mufasa's mom references the song He Lives in You, and Mufasa then references We Are One in his ending speech to try and rally the animals together, as well as starting his speech with the Zulu words that actually opened the original animated movie. Another reference to the animated sequel is after being found by Taka, Mufasa has to evade a crocodile attack, and his 2D animated counterpart's granddaughter, Kiara, also had to escape a float in Simba's Pride and avoid an alligator. And after Kiraso's defeat, Mufasa says he cannot bring himself to say Taka's name anymore after his betrayal. And this literally results in his brother being called Scar from then on, right? Then in the 1994 film, we remember Scar, when he becomes king, made a law against saying Mufasa's name. And I really kind of just like those little tie-ins. This movie was actually filled with a lot of tie-ins. They did research, y'all. At the end of the film, the cub that Kiara calls her little brother It's definitely gonna be most likely Keon. They didn't actually say his name was Keon, but like Disney Junior's Lion King spinoff, The Lion Guard, that was her little brother's name. The dramatic flood sequence that separates Mufasa from his family in the very beginning reaches its zenith when an elephant is caught in the flash flood and crashes into the dam of logs. The location is heavily reminiscent of the setting of the third act in Simba's Pride, where the lioness and her son actually ended up dying in said. Some of the things I didn't like, the CGI, though it was far better and way more expressive than the first one, it still came off a bit lifeless. And at certain parts, I really just found it difficult to be able to tell Mufasa and Scar apart. Like there was just beige and slightly more grayish beige, but like you really couldn't tell them apart. They really looked the exact same to me. Oh, so on a $2 million budget, the film had been neutrally received domestically. So it did get beat out by Sonic 3 on release weekend, and rightfully so. But it was well received worldwide. It ended up grossing about $335 million, kind of making back its budget and then some. So I'm not really mad at it. Honestly, my rating will be like, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Genuinely because I was surprised that I actually enjoyed it so much. I even did a voiceover demo to it and got to flex my singing skills a little bit, so you know, check that out. And you can watch the full movie with me on my Patreon account as well, so come join the crew. That is it for Mufasa the Lion King, y'all. You guys should really go check it out. Give it a chance, give it a shot. It actually was really good. I think it was, you know, because it was a prequel and they were able to take so many liberties with the storyline and kind of creating that, though there is Lion King lore, I do like the fact that they brought all of those things in there, and then some of the things that I didn't like and facts that I didn't like started off with were actually explained and made more sense afterwards. So I can respect it. I can honestly respect this film better than the first live action one, and I think that one's just because we had something directly to compare it to. This one you don't really have much to compare it to, so you kind of have to enjoy it and take it for what it is. Songs weren't bad, and the songs were bad, Miranda. The songs were bad, though I'm still going to continue to petition for an MBM collaboration, okay? We need a Madison Bear and Miranda collaboration for Disney, and I think you guys will hit your sweet spot for like the Disney musicals and bringing that into more modern day times. Come on, just give it to me. We already took the raps out, so we're taking the steps. We're taking the steps. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. They were like, the songs are catchy. If you aren't stuck under a rock and we have not gotten TikTok banned yet, you know that the Brother song is going is going crazy viral on TikTok right now. And then I've seen some people mention the Villain song because of the funny way that he was saying bye bye, and I hate it. I hated it. I do still hate it, but I also like it at the same time. Like it's very Miranda code. Why did you do that? It really could have been like a really good meaty Villain song, but I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at what it was for what it was, if that makes sense. So that is my breakdown of Mufasa the Lion King. Again, go check that out on my Patreon. The full movie is up there. The reaction will not be dropped until it releases. So, you know, I'm so glad that you guys have tuned in. Thank you guys to my Patreon subscribers. Thank you again for my YouTube subscribers. I am so grateful to have you guys come and join me and kick it with me again. And until next time, oh, and check out my Sonic breakdown. That's going to be dropping in like another couple of days or so. So stay tuned for that as well. It's been real. I am Asha LaRue, and this has been another episode of Yo Asha TV. Peace.